Welcome to another edition here, Corbett's Corner. Dylan Corbett here on YouTube as we talk about the best topics in sports. Tomorrow we're going to go over some weekend gambling lines, taking an eye on college football and the new week in the NFL. Vikings-Eagles tomorrow, 7-point dogs for your Minnesota Vikings. We're going to talk about the Minnesota Twins and why there should be reason for optimism. I've been kind of, chirping them as I like to do many of the Minneapolis sports franchises here because they do zero winning, right? But it looks like the Central's theirs. Cleveland looks toast, right? Hey, you did what you did. You're there. You're taking care of business, and you are setting up for a home postseason matchup, right? So, as it stands right now, here's who you're potentially going with. And you're thinking, yes, okay, no New York Yankees, right? That's been the Achilles heel. I do want to look up, because it's something crazy, the Minnesota Twins' current postseason losing streak. It's something absurd, like it's 18 consecutive postseason games. 18. You're hearing that correctly. So a lot of those have been at the hands of the New York Yankees, right, throughout the 2000s and into the 2010s, even though they've had their own issues in the last decade. Plus, as it stands right now, you would be facing, well, it's a tie, Toronto or Seattle. Two teams that made the wild card last year. Two dangerous teams, right? Look at what Seattle's doing the second half of the season. Well, look what Julio Rodriguez is doing right now. That's a team that won the wild card series last year. And I think you always got to watch out for a wild card in the MLB postseason. I'm thinking the Nationals, when they went on to win without Bryce Harper, Strasburg, that crazy year right before COVID, right? They were a wild card team. Cardinals have done this twice as a wild card team. We'll get into a St. Louis Cardinals obligatory rant in just a moment. But I lost my train of thought here. So it's going to be a wild card team that, look at the Phillies last year, right? Look at the Padres, who made a championship league series, and league championship series is what I was trying to get off my chest there. And then they eventually lost to the Phillies. You had two wild cards make that run last year in the NL. The AL, you had Houston and the Yankees. Houston swept the Yankees in embarrassing fashion, kind of told you the lay of the land for what the Yankees were going to be this year. A little bit more on that later. So, well, let's touch on that now because I got to toot my own horn. Show me someone who had tickets before the season that had three things. The Mets to miss the playoffs plus 400, the Yankees to miss the playoffs plus 400, and the Orioles to make the playoffs plus 360. You're looking at them. Yeah, most of you guys that have followed me on Corbett's and whatnot for a while know that I'm not the best sports bettor. I'm a volume guy. But also, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've been getting better. Future is probably my best, and that is coming to fruition again this year. So those are looking money. I also took the Orioles pretty, healthily juiced to win the AL East at the All-Star break. Looks good. Still a lot of baseball to be played left, but they're 3 games up on the Rays right now, who lose Wander Franco. What's going on there, right? It's a little too quiet for the team that was the best team in baseball for so long this year. Lose your superstar in a really bizarre, sketchy story. In case you don't know, apparently he's been dating minors, and I mean minors, and he's from the Dominican Republic. He's a superstar. I don't know what's going on there, but it's seedy. It's seedy nonetheless. And the amount of silence that has followed as they're still trying to make the playoffs, right? They could use this guy. Is he ever going to play baseball again? Is he going to go take pitches off Trevor Bauer in Japan with Julio Urias and Domingo Germán? Does baseball have a problem? Everyone talks about the domestic abuse and all the shit that goes on in the NFL. Yo, what's been going on in baseball lately, right? A tough look. I mean, guys, as men, can we just step the fuck up? Like, let's just be gentlemen. Let's be stand-up role models just in general. That should be the golden rule to live by, just first of all. But the Rays, I even without Wander coming back, that organization is so well run and managed. You can't not count them out. Even though they've lost, like I said, Wander and McClanahan, right? Like, they have dealt with some heavy blows, and yet next man up, Jose Siri, Randy Arozarena, Cardinal fans, we miss you. We miss him. Isaac Paredes, right? They find these guys that come up and just hit and rake. And they have the best run differential in baseball. So, that's not to be overlooked, even though a lot of that was from the beginning of the year, but they also could. Look, with postseason, if you get hot at the right time, you see it with postseason goaltending in hockey, and we just talked about it. You see it with these wild card teams that have pitching. They can go on a run when the postseason comes. Welcome, those of you joining us. Hit up the chat. I want to see who's for real or fraudulent in your eyes for. Let's start with the AL. Baltimore, like I said, I picked them to win the AL East. I picked them to make the playoffs. That was a team that overachieved last year and finished around 500. So I'm looking at it, I'm going, wait a second. They're thinking that they're not going to step up. Adley Rutschman's going to be one of the best young players in baseball. You've got Austin Hayes. You've got Ryan Mountcastle. Even preseason, I was looking at that roster thinking, if I also am thinking that the Yankees are not going to be good, why not take this value here? And that's exactly what ended up happening. And now they've been able to call up all these different guys. They still have Jackson Holliday in the wings. Orioles dangerous, but again, it's like, do I trust Brandon Hyde when it comes down to the postseason? That I don't know. A lot of people are starting to sip on the Kool-Aid now. And now that people are starting to hop on the bandwagon, and I've been on for a little bit here since the preseason, starting to get a little worried, I got to tell you. Because I think the AL is pretty loaded, right? You're going to have Toronto and Seattle as wild cards, and those are teams that, are dangerous. Like, I would put both of those teams ahead of the Twins right now. But again, Twins are going to be at home. They're going to have the advantage. They have better pitching. Do you trust Pablo Lopez in a postseason game? Okay, we're there, Twins fans, right? We've got the pitching. We've got the division pretty much signed up. Things are looking up. I am tucking my tail in between my legs there. You guys are winning the division. You are making the postseason. What are you doing there? 18 consecutive postseason losses. Pitchings look great this year. Pablo Lopez looks like you won that deal, right? It was a wash the whole year. Arias has been great, but one team's going to be in the postseason. I don't even think the Marlins are. I guess they're hanging around. But the Twins and Marlins are pretty similar teams, but the Marlins don't get to be in the AL Central. I think the Marlins, so the Marlins would win the AL Central if they were in that division. So what are we doing, Twins fans? So, Sonny Gray, do you trust him in the postseason? Is he going to be able to go 6? Is Emilio Pagan going to come in for him in the 7th and give up a home run? Griffin Jacks, 7, 8 blown saves now. Rocco Baldelli's bullpen management, we trusting that? Pablo Lopez, for what it's worth, incredible year. I think he's going to lead he leads the AL in strikeouts. He's fanning everyone. I would probably rack up a couple amount of strikeouts if I, too, was facing the AL Central all year. But 0-1 in the postseason for Miami. Got to do it in the postseason. Otherwise, it's all for naught. And then you're a 500 team again next year. And is the Central going to retool? Eventually, Detroit and the Royals have to be good again, right? No? I don't know. That division's disgusting, as is the NL Central. So, Houston, are they the team to beat? Defending champs? I say watch out for Seattle. They have Julio Rodriguez, who's doing things that is unbelievable right now since the month of August on. And they have the pitching. Luis Castillo. You've got George Kirby. Nice young arm. Logan Gilbert. If you want to even get deeper, they've got Bryce Miller, right? So there's 2 studs, a third all-star guy, and then a 4th guy that's probably, he could pitch. I don't know if he can pitch in the postseason. He might get rocked. He might shove. That's my wild team to watch out for, wild card team, because you're going to get the Twins. And who's going to be favored in that series? I wouldn't be shocked if it's Seattle. And again, you can't forget about the Rays. They'll be hanging around. Rays disappointed last year. They ended up losing to the Guardians. See if they can. This is a team that made the champion. They won the AL not too long ago. They lost in 2020, right, to the Dodgers, and they're still here. right? They just retool. They do it again next year. They're not even adding big-time free agents. They're doing the opposite of what the Mets are doing, and they're succeeding, which I love. All right, so let's go to the NL. St. Louis Cardinals fans, I mean, it's been a little quiet, right? We finally got razzed up. I've been telling you for the last 5 to almost 10 years, John Mozeliak's got to go. But it's the common case of you're the boss. You're going to wake up one day and fire yourself. Stop giving yourself a paycheck. Stop sitting in the cushiest seat in sports. No. So we're gonna retool. We're gonna spend money this free. What are we gonna do? Max Scherzer and have him suck? Or are we gonna sign Mike Leake again and have him suck? Dexter Fowler, Wilson Contreras. He actually had a fine year, maybe not for the amount of money that he did, but what did they give us? They gave us the worst year in almost 3 decades. We're gonna be. It's official now, right? We're gonna be the bottom of the NL Central. And the NL Central stinks. We're going to be in the bottom of the NL Central. We have a lame duck fucking manager who sucks. Handpicked puppet from, guess who? Mozeliak. And Mozeliak's a genius. He's an evil genius. He has set this up to where, I see right through it. I know he's the man at the top to blame. But he has set this up to where you can blame the manager that he picked. It's all his fault, right? Well, who picked the manager? And then he also has a secondary puppet, because Mozeliak's president of baseball operations, right? He elevated himself from GM after he got 2011 World Series. This guy, Michael Gersh, I don't even know if he's still there. He's basically, so now, okay, if you want to blame the Cardinals, no, you blame the manager. All right, you want to blame front office. No, you don't blame Mozeliak. You blame his second right-hand man, Michael Gersh, even though that guy has not made one decision for himself, ever. That's not how that works there. And nothing works in this current state of hierarchy. It's embarrassing. I think I owe Eric Perez an apology when we are, at a bachelor party in Vegas before March Madness, so obviously in the middle of spring training, getting ready for April. He told me the Cardinals were going to be nothing and the Cubs will win the division. I laughed him off. Cubs looks like they're not going to win the division. They're fighting with the Brewers, but holy crap. I mean, how did we just watch the Cubs literally? I guess they went for Dansby. They went for Bellinger. That was smart. Their fans have enjoyed this year. They're loving it. They're probably playing postseason ball. Maybe. At least they have a shot. And holy crap. We Cardinal fans are here just shrugging our shoulders, wondering what the hell just went wrong. Well, we've seen the writing on the wall for quite some time, but finally hit us like a 16-wheeler this year. And what's next? I have 0. Goldschmidt's another year older. Arenado's another year older. Are we going to give away another outfielder that's going to go do well somewhere else? Adolis Garcia, Randy Arozarena, anyone? Are we going to hold on to the wrong guy? Paul DeYoung? Colton Wong 2 years too late. Bader, we gave him up. Are we going to get Liberatore in again? Are we going to get prospects that don't ever pan out here? Flaherty an Oriole now. That dude, watch him go get a ring. Everyone looking at the Braves, Dodgers, right? Both these teams lost after they got the byes last year. Braves haven't done it since Freddie Freeman, even though Matt Olson, might darn near win MVP if he wasn't teammates with the actual MVP, Ronald Acuna. That guy's crazy. And remember, the Braves have won without Acuna when he tore his ACL. They still had Freeman. Now they replaced Freeman. Olson's crazy, man. That dude could play. Sean Murphy, they're just poaching Oakland Athletics talent. Everyone, I think rightfully so, is looking at the Braves. They have the best run differential in baseball. They're 100 more runs than Tampa Bay. So the current favorites right now are Braves almost overwhelmingly. It's like plus 250. And then I think it's the Dodgers plus 350 and then the Astros plus 450. That's probably, you're not going to get any complaints out of me. That's probably how, but always keep an eye out for that wild card team that's going to make a run. Now, last year, the wild card teams that made a run were in the NL. Padres 5th seed, Phillies 6th seed. 1-2 went in the AL Championship Series. So is it going to flip-flop? Are we going to see the wild cards in the AL a little bit more open? do some damage there, and then is it going to be chalk here in the NL? I think that's what you're probably looking at. Brewers and Craig Counsell don't scare me. Cubs, I'm going to be rooting against you the entire fucking series if you do make it. Phillies went to the World Series last year. Was that a little bit of the postseason luck? They struggled a lot for this year, and then they finally got it going. Looks like they're going to make the playoffs. Here's where it stands right now. Your divisions are locked up basically in the West and the East. It's going to be Braves, Dodgers, bye. Then it's probably going to be Brewers, if I had to go out on a limb and say, in order to get the division done. And then your wild card teams are going to be Phillies, Cubs. Jesus Christ, that's my worst nightmare. And Arizona. Do any of those teams, I think, have a shot? No. But everyone's got a shot. It's the postseason. Yeah, so, I mean, Cardinals... Jesus Christ, doormat of the Central. Who's for real or fraudulent? If I had to, let's wrap up here as we get you short and sweet on Wednesday with who's for real or fraudulent. Let's run through them. Baltimore, give me for real. I'm going for real. All right, they got to back it up in the postseason, but they're here. They're for real. They've got the lineup. They went out, added Flaherty. They've got. I mean, let's take a look at this pitching here because I like that lineup. Austin Hayes, a quiet all-star. Like, they've got guys that can hit. And then Anthony Santander. Gunnar Henderson has quietly had a sensational year. But it's a lot of young guys, right? But it's depth throughout the lineup. Cedric Mullins, he's almost become an afterthought. And he's a former all-star. Do I trust Kyle Gibson on the bump in the postseason? Hell no. Hopefully he doesn't. I mean, so this is where things can become an issue. And that's pitching for the Orioles. So they're going to have to hit their way to be for real, but I'm sticking with for real. Houston's for real. Defending champs, Altuve might win 3 World. Is he going to be Jeter? I don't know. He might get another. Twins, you're more for real than I thought, but you're still a bunch of frauds. All right? We'll see. I might go to the game and, do something funny if they end up winning. Toronto and Seattle are for real. I would put Seattle ahead of Toronto. I think Toronto's management is a little lack to be desired. You don't have Alek Manoah, right? That's been a crazy story that's hindered that franchise this year. They've always been here. They haven't been able to win the division or do anything really in the postseason now. And as Vlad Guerrero Jr. has been kind of here for a while now, and this was kind of a disappointing year for him. You don't hear much. Yeah, I mean, 769 OPS. He only has 21 bombs. Springer's another year older. Whit Merrifield. Matt Chapman actually, he had a crazy start to the year. I would put Seattle over Toronto. So let's go Seattle for real, Toronto fraudulent. And to the NL, Braves and Dodgers are for real. The Brewers, Cubs, Phillies, and Diamondbacks are fraudulent. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. I'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll talk NFL, college football, games, lines, preview the weekend. Thanks to you that have joined us here. Let's get that chat popping, boys. Let's get that, boys and or girls. I want to see what MLB teams you guys like. Going to be interesting. Postseason comes in October. It's a great time of the year to be a sports fan, and thanks for tuning in with me here to talk about it. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central.